Okay, thank you. Thank you very much, and welcome again to this panel. It's the first time actually that any association would have done this format where the AMC is sitting and asking questions to the MFDs, isn't it? So one of the reasons why I'm wearing the Aifa coat, which Sam has very, nicely given up for me. I'm not giving it to you back, Sam. I'm taking it with me so that I feel part of you asking the questions to the legends, as Krishnan said, sitting around. So I have a first question which is common to all of you, and I'll start with you, Kirtan, since you've been in the field of education, especially for a lot. And in fact, everybody here is in the field of education in some way or the other. I know that Ramesh ji has trained more than 15,000 advisors. The amount of IAPs that you've done and the followers that Mr. Padmanabhan has is all legendary, in fact. So the question is, what have you done to upscale and upskill and update yourself so far in your journey? And what do you intend to do further in terms of the same objective of upscaling and upskill? You all have reached where you have reached, but if you still intend to do more, what is it that you intend to do in terms of upscaling or upgrading yourself? So, Kirtan.
Ajit, I think a little background before I answer that question. So it was 2007 that I completed my CFP certification. Mm-hmm. It's already been 15 years that I completed my certification, and hardly there was anybody in that ecosystem at that time who knew about what CFP is. At my erstwhile company, SRE, we were amongst the first ones to run fee-based advisory. At a time where there was an entry load, and we used to get paid 2.25, whatever that number was, we used to charge fee to the client over and above that, right? But over a period of time, we realized that that model was not sustainable. We could not really do justice to the kind of time and energies that we were spending. And we had to call the business off, right? Now, why am I starting the discussion with this is because since then, till today, I have seen the industry change every 3 years.
Every 3.
And changing aggressively and extremely fast. So, while we are discussing upgrade, upskill, I think immediately I related to this example of mine that I started, I failed, and over the last 15 years, I would have seen 3-4 complete change in thoughts of how do I really want to run this business. So what have I done for myself? 2 things. First is I've been continuously learning. Since my CFP days, post that I would have another 6 certifications that I would have taken post my CFP. Okay. I've been spending a lot of time, energy on technology and team. In my opinion, and I heard a lot of y'all concur the same thought, and I completely second all of y'all who said this, that you probably might only be able to run a kilometer, but if you really want to run miles, you would need people and technology to really help you. So I think while we've been doing team and technology for quite some time, to your question, what do I intend to continue to do is add more value in team and technology. I think unless we are really able to do team and technology at this point in time with the changing scale at which the business is operating, yeah, I think we are going to be laggards, at least in my opinion. Yeah.
Okay.
That was so nice, Kirtan, to hear you. And same here too. In 2010, I think in 2009, Padmanabhan completed, then 2010 I thought let us do CFP, because 2009 the entry load story, direct and entry load story going out, and many things are going to come. So we thought let us do CFP along with my wife Anita. It's very tough to study along with wife. She wakes up in the morning 4 o'clock and sits on the dining table and she will be studying. She will not wake me up. She will be waking up and oh, she's studying. So I have to get up. 4:30 I am forced to get up, sit with her. We both, by God's grace, completed in first attempt. That too, the class we have studied with Subhash in Chennai is our faculty member. We will have every this thing 10 sessions. 10 sessions. I have decided, I have set a goal. On the 10th day, that is the 10th session, I will go with the suite in the class that I have passed. This is my goal set. So 9, this thing will be over, but I will be preparing for the 10th and I will write the exam. God's grace, 99% I have got A grade, and only one investment planning B grade I got. Okay. So with that, I will go with the sweet box in the class and say, I have finished my exam. This is the mindset. That is what I am telling you, my dear friends. Set yourself, I will learn, I will learn, I will learn. Your blood will make you learn. It is now, sir has asked me, see, what is skill upgrade? What is going to be future thing? Now also, I am learning. I am doing my AI, Excel and AI. That's why you are finding lot of Excel calculators I am sharing with you. Yes, that is it. That's because I started learning Excel. I am doing Excel on Excel. I want to be Excel on Excel. And also artificial intelligence. ChatGPT and artificial intelligence. Also I started, it's a 1-year course. It is just 2 months over. I'm just a baby on that. You have started already seeing the calculators. Maybe in 1 year I may come out with AI calculators for MFD soon. I will share with you also.
Lovely, lovely. And Apurva, Anupriya, you're one of those
both my
very
daughters
fortunate MFDs where both your daughters have also entered the business.
Same.
What are they doing?
Same, they are also both my daughters, thanks sir. Both my daughters, Apurva, Anupriya, are also in the same field. I brought my next generation in. They all joined my company from 2012 because what I preach you, I should do myself.
Correct.
I tell, bring next generation to this business. You will mint money. Your 1 day commission of 1 lakh rupees, nobody will give you in this world. Hope regulators are not here. Nobody will give you in this world. You can earn so much. They are also CFP, myself. I think we are one among the family, complete family CFP. Myself, my wife, both my daughters, and both my daughters are QPFP too. If you ask me, sir, should I do CFP? I will suggest you better than CFP, do QPFP. Network FPs, QPFP. Amazing.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. Sundara.
Thank you. Hello.
Yeah.
Thank you, Aifa team, for the opportunity, and good evening to all the co-panelists.
Hold it close.
Okay. Yeah. So good evening to all the co-panelists and all the members. Thank you so much. So on the upskilling part, I think upskilling is not a choice. I'm sure everyone knows it. It is a mandatory requirement. Because we deal with a dynamic economy, we deal with a dynamic market, we deal with dynamic products, we deal with dynamic clients, but our job is to make the client passive in his investment, not the active versus passive. I'm saying as far as the client remains passive in his investments, I think he is going to create wealth. So to make him passive, we need to connect with the client with various aspects. So one of the major jobs of us, apart from the knowledge and the product and other things, very important key which we need to prepare ourselves is about storytelling. And storytelling is all about speaking about different aspects. So like some client might be interested in speaking about cricket, somebody might be interested in speaking about the war which is happening, somebody might be interested about the politics. And the next 6 months we are going to have every client asking us whether the client is investing 500 rupees or 5 crores, it does not matter. The client is going to ask what will happen to the election in 2024. I'm sure the question has already started coming in. So how are you getting prepared? So if you can have a standard template of how to answer the client, I think that becomes much more easy. So for you to come with a very logical answer, okay, without really getting political, if you can get into a logical answer and if you can convince the client, I think for that also you need upskill, apart from the other products. So one thing what we do at our organization with a little team, what we do is every Wednesday we do a topic called as Wisdom Wednesday, where every morning we meet with a small team of about 5 of us and we pick up these topics. One, it could be on the product, one, it could be on the market, one, it could be on the current affair. So like today we have trained our teams to answer the same template. What if this happens? What will happen to the market? Of course, what we say and what happens, we don't have any control, but end of the day, client needs that story. Okay. And if you can connect with the client through the storytelling, I think the client will remain passive in his investment. So I think upskilling is not a choice.
Lovely. Padmanabhan.
Good evening, everyone. See, my qualification is MSc Physics. So I am not from the financial background. So that is the reason I did my CFP first. So in fact, I sit for the 6 to 8 months. I have completed CFP. Then only I started practicing. See, actually, this profession, we need to create some uniqueness on our own. Okay, see, this is the business. It involves with numbers. Most of the MFD, they are not spending time on the fund selection or how the fund is performing. They are simply selecting the fund based on the interaction with the AMC or listening to some of the fund manager. Because for them, it is easy to blame if the fund is not performing because that person only told. See, this is a profession where we need to spend a good amount of time. In fact, I jokingly tell, if you are not good at in elementary mathematics, okay, then it is very difficult for you to be successful in the business. Though Mr. Ajit Menon told, it starts from the maths and it ends with chemistry, but definitely the maths part is very, very important. If not, you are not competent enough, at least you should employ somebody who is very good in math. So, when it comes to upskilling myself, I took a different route because I came from this profession by a choice. Okay, most of the people are, they come by accident. When you are coming by accident, you just compare with what you have done previously. Suppose I earned 50,000, 1 lakh rupees, now I am making 1.5 lakh rupees, people will be complacent in general. So I came to this profession by a choice. So I don't want to create a very, very big business, very big AUM, very big enterprise. So for that, we need to work hard. If you do the same thing what everybody does, then you will not make any difference. So that's the reason I spend a lot of time on analyzing the fund, and I choose a category, the small and mid cap category. In fact, earlier people are not inclined to small and mid cap. Nowadays, everybody is coming towards the mid and small cap. That's the only way everybody has to come. So this is as far as the current this thing is. And future, currently I have a 6-member team, and Mr. Saugata Chatterjee told, you should have a office across location. At least I should have one more office in Chennai or at least in South. So I want to build a team to make use of the biggest opportunity. Thank you.
Fantastic. Lovely. So then now for the second round of questions, let me start with the youngest member, Ramesh ji. Of course you are. You have in your journey actually trained, as you mentioned, more than 15,000 advisors in various aspects, from tax planning to commodities to various things that you've been training on based on your experience and certification. Therefore, you would have trained MFDs across. They would be from big cities, small cities as well, and small towns as well. What have you seen as, have you seen any differences in the way that advisors from different cities across the country approach what they want to upskill themselves on and learn on? What are their interests? And do you have a recommendation for advisors wherever they may be, whichever town they may be coming from, in terms of what they should focus on?
See, I have addressed gatherings or trained people from Tier 1, Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities. Places like, I think somebody is from Tirupati here. Yes? Yeah. You can ask them also, Tier 3 cities, smaller, Tirupati also people. I have tried Tirupati, Kadapa, small places also I went there, I've trained them. I've done a lot of things for them. But the aspiration for Tier 2 and Tier 3 city to grow faster is amazing. Is amazing. Let it be here in Kottayam or Alappuzha or Ambalappuzha. These are all small places. They want to grow faster, because people in Ernakulam or people in Trivandrum or Calicut, it may be bit comfortable for them than the people in the class 2 and class 3 area. And what they expect, even from AMC end, when we go for training, the AMC end also, they expect them in Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities, they want themselves to be trained by the fund managers. You ask, when I go to Ernakulam or Chennai or Mumbai or Kolkata, everybody want to hear the MFDs. We want to hear MFD. See, because when IFA Galaxy organizing a meeting somewhere, when we go to the tier 2 city or tier 1 city, from tier 1, example Trichy, I can give you an example, which is tier 2 city. Trichy, when we gave, these are all the MFDs are going to speak, the agenda went, immediately they said, sir, so many MFDs are, we want only fund managers. Because they are not getting the opportunity to hear the fund managers. Hear the fund managers. But in tier 1 city, they want to hear the experience, people who have already experienced, already successful. In fact, even though every day is a learning day, I'm in the industry since 87, but every day is a learning day. 2 days I had been with Padmanabhan yesterday, and he's my roommate. We were discussing a lot. Even morning we went to Ambalam, Padmanabhan Swami Ambalam. On the way we were talking about certain things. And soon I will prepare a video and I will share with everybody on that. That's a great concept which I have learned from Padmanabhan sir. Every day is a learning day. Maybe a new IFA who is, I am seeing that, I ask him how long you are there in the industry. Sir, last year only I have joined. But I will get a trigger point from him. This kind of all. The N2 from tier 2 and tier 3 city advisors are more. And I find lot of laziness like distributors like me, because the reason is, it is not because of them, the trail commission, pouring in trail commission, which makes them not look into the new business, which we are seeing. But there are people who have this thing, fire in the belly. I should grow from here to 500 crores, 1000 crores, 2000 crores. That should be there with you all. Please, friends, don't misunderstand. You should set a goal, then only you will move towards your goal. Many, sir, എങ്ങനെയുണ്ട് ബിസിനസ്? ഉണ്ട് സാർ, കൊള്ളാം. ഇത് ഷെയർ മാർക്കറ്റ് അല്ലേ സാറേ, മറ്റേത് ഇൻഷുറൻസ് കൊള്ളാം, ഇത് അങ്ങനെ പറയാൻ പാടില്ല. You should always be whatever you do. I can give you an example, I can compare and tell you. Even 15 years, if you come and challenge with me, insurance is better or mutual fund commission, let it be 50 paise. Let it be 50 paise your trial commission. We are better than insurance. I can prove you that.
Wonderful. Okay. So, Kirtan, over to you. You have been in the business as Sykes and Ray in certification, one of the only few entities that have been empaneled by SEBI and by NISM. You also, from a CFP certification with FPSB. So, from your perspective, if you were to think about the few competencies that every MFD should aspire to have as early as possible in their journey, which will help them deal with their business and their customers and the whole aspect of advising customers better, what would be your recommendations?
I think my recommendation is going to be very different from what they've been hearing for the last 2 days.
Well, then that's good.
And that's exactly what and how I start my presentation post this, but I'm still going to talk about it. Suppose if I ask you, what is your job as an MFD? What do you think your job is as an MFD? Behavior, hand holding is all I keep hearing. I ask 100 people, what's your job as an MFD? They say my job is hand holding, my job is behavioral management, right? But in my opinion, in the competitive landscape, the way things are changing so aggressively, and because of digitization, there is a big vacuum between hand holding and what the fund manager does, right? That's the space I think a lot of us will have to start working on. What do I mean? I'm going to borrow something from what he said. Let's say if you've been in the business for the last 20 years, right? Sorry, don't take me wrong in what I'm trying to say, but this is my experience when I'm meeting MFDs. And I'm one of you, right? For the last 20 years, if you've been in the business, every year there has been new 4 star funds that you've sold, right? Which means in the last 20 years, you would have sold 300 schemes. How many of us here who manages 500 or 1000 clients know what's happening in the 30th client's portfolio?
Padmanabhan, let me come to you. Most of us in the industry, whether we are on the fund side or on the distribution side, somewhere we like to play safe, right? And because we might feel that we are wanting to protect for the investor. What is your perspective when you hear this from people who say that the choices they make are largely because they want to be safer? What's your perspective?
See, whether it is a life or business, there is nothing called safe. So when you are playing safe, either you will draw or you will lose. So I always play to win. I cannot win all the time, whether it's a life or business. If I play for a win, I have 3 outcomes. Either I can win, or it can be a draw, or it can be a lose. So if you play for a safe, definitely you will not get a bigger this thing. But at the same time, safe aggression means I am not taking any aggressive bet just blindfoldedly. I am doing all the calculated risk. Then only I am taking a bet on something. So for that we need a data. So say for example, whenever there is an examination, people tend to fear for writing examination. In fact, I keep wondering why Amphi has given an option for somebody to sit for a 1-day program to get a renewal, because somebody cleared the examination 3 years before. That time definitely their knowledge is very, very less. After 3 years, their knowledge will be much higher. But still they prefer sitting for a 1 day, they are wasting a 1 day. So which means they are not confident on something. So whatever we are not doing something on a regular basis, we tend to fear. If there is an interview, we are not doing anything on a regular basis, then we will always used to fear. So when it comes to data crunching, so for me data crunching is the day-to-day activities. When I go and see the data, I can see so much of opportunity which is lying. That's the reason most of the people who are very, very safe, they are not at all giving any importance to the data. So that you can go and check. So this thing is, we are, the technology is there, everything is there, and we are living in a T20 world. So there is nothing called play safe and something. And I am an extremist. I don't like a normal kind of person. So I want to be everyone is a extremist.
I see. Okay, that's a good one. Sundar, coming to you, and after that I have maybe one closing question for everybody. We have multiple regulators. We know that licenses are under multiple regulators. So many a time people just focus on one product. And there's no harm in that, as Padmanabhan himself was saying yesterday, there's no harm in that. But there is also a set of clients who may be there for wanting multiple products. But clients themselves have various expectations, right? And sometimes setting expectations itself is the start of the journey where much of the work needs to get done for an MFD. Because then that makes life smoother. What would you say with regard to this aspect of setting expectations with your customers? If what kind of upskill, upgrade, update, what kind of hard skills or soft skills do you employ or do you think is relevant for setting expectations well?
Thank you, sir. So one, as you said, in terms of dealing with multiple products, I think, again, it's a choice of how you want to run your business. But naturally, the need for clients, the financial needs of clients are different. Starting from a loan to a NPS to a mutual fund to a real estate, it could be anything. So if you have more product category, provided you are competent in dealing with all the products, or you have right set of tie-ups for dealing with those kind of products, I think your client acquisition strategy becomes a lot more easier. But again, it's a choice. If you can handle it, then it is perfect. On the second thing which you asked about, on the upskilling part and setting the expectation. So setting the expectation is one of our biggest job, but most of us sometimes think that selling selling applications or bringing SIPs is part of course that's part of our business. But more importantly, our business is a beautiful business where the AMC, the manufacturer, the intermediary, the MFD, and also the client, I think the goals are aligned. Very in many industries it doesn't work like that, okay, where even for the asset management company, they will make money only over a long period of time. The same is the case with MFDs, and same is the case with the investor also. So our job is to set the expectation right in terms of two aspects. One thing what we normally speak about is the return aspect. So one is tell the client you will get inflation plus 2-3% return or something like that, so that you are telling him that not everything is rosy. Second, you will get it only when you stay for a longer period of time. So if these two things are set, of course the client will not understand in the same conviction in which we are saying something, but it is through repeated engagement on however you want. Sometimes the client is very happy when the markets have run. So maybe that is the time you will have to speak the other way, saying that this is not constant. And the same way when the markets are down, maybe that's the time to tell, like sir was saying in his units, how to gather about unit. Maybe sometimes you will have to change the focus from returns to units and vice versa. So if you can keep doing this again and again and again, I think broadly we will be successful. I'm sure everyone who is sitting in this hall is reasonably good at that. That's one of the reasons we are sitting here. I think we'll have to keep coming with new stories, in fact, one thing I generally do is, I try and tell a client story to another client. Sometimes it could be a fictitious story, but sometimes the client wants some real example. So if you can, because when we meet clients, it's a, it's a case study. Every client is unique, every client has a unique problem. But if you can actually explain that, I think the client will be able to connect that much better. So setting expectation is definitely part and parcel of our job.
Lovely. So the kind of things, now that we are coming to the close, the kind of things that I'm hearing from Padmanabhan, I'm taking back calculated risk. If there's one word that I were to take back, then I would say that, how do we think about not just risks, but calculated risks? That's the important part. From you, Sundara, I'm taking back one word as storytelling. Consistent storytelling. Let me add it as like calculated risk, consistent storytelling. Once you set your own philosophies of why you do what you're doing, and that becomes your scenario or your storytelling, then maintain that consistently as possible. Rameshji, from you, I'm taking growth mindset. Having a real growth mindset is important. Before you start the journey for what you want to upskill, upgrade, build business, you have to start with building a growth mindset and not taking it easy. And Kirtan, I'm hearing from you that there's a lot getting spoken, but nobody is actually thinking about filling the gap between where you are actually dealing with customers and the whole profession behind it. So that skill gap in between is an important gap to identify and then work towards, filling that. So filling gaps, identifying and filling gaps in knowledge is, I think, the key area that people should aspire to. You may have a lot of knowledge about some aspect, you can keep growing it, but in order of priority, it's better to identify gaps and then work on that first. So that's wonderful. My last question to all of you, as brief as possible, is how do you keep yourself updated? We all read newspapers, we listen to WhatsApp University we have now. A lot of things happen, social media, and we are all on social media and also giving advice to our friends and followers. But how do you keep yourself updated? Is there anything that you do which is unique or special, which keeps you better updated than most people? Can you share something with the audience? So, Kirtan, maybe I can start.
I think very honestly, it may not come as a surprise, but my biggest learning is out of social media. You end up following the right kind of people, bank on all the hard work and the research that they are doing, and they put it up in a very crisp format, and you just end up learning. If you follow 100 people on social media who've been doing a lot of work at the back end, and they put content and data up, and you read that, is much more than what you will be able to practically be able to read through books or magazines or something. So social media has been a great teacher for me, at least.
So choose whom to follow on social media can be a good strategy. Ramesh?
See, for last many years, till 2012, I'm everything in my organization. From everything in the organization, today I've become nothing in my organization.
Wonderful.
That's because many things what we are bringing in, the technology you bring in, many things you bring in, you create a team, That team works, your daughter, I'm bringing my daughter in. So previously, 10 years back, the client comes to me, he will say that I would like to see only Ramesh. He will not see the staff at all. Now I have created parallelly many, apart from my daughters, staff members and other. Now they will say just hi to me and go. That is the thing which I want every IFA. I will soon again, I'm assuring you, I'll come with a video. What is the benefit of you employing a person and making that employee just sell only 5 SIP a month for next 15 years, and what is the benefit you are going to get and that employee is going to get? I'll work it out and come to you soon.
Okay, so expanding your team base can be itself something that leaves you more free time to update fantastically.
Everything to nothing.
Everything to nothing. That's great. Sundar?
So one is, what I do is, so there are two types of information which we need, or the understanding. So one is whatever is happening in and around. So like for example, so I live in Chennai, okay, so you need to know what is happening locally. So what I do is, maybe I'll tell what I do. So I definitely listen to a local news, read a local newspaper where most items are there, then listen to international news, and of course the business news. So this is one part, so that you are there. It's not deep knowledge, but assuming yesterday there was Infosys results, for example, at least the least is we should at least be knowing that the result was out. Assuming there is any change, we should be knowing. So this is like on the page of the, or the cover of the book kind of. So if you want to have deep knowledge about a subject, like whatever we deal day in, day out, which is our job, I think we need to go deep. One of the best thing is try and go as near as to the source of the news or the information. Like reading a book, like for example, Psychology of Money. So you're reading directly from Morgan Housel, who is said to be one of the best minds of our industry. So read that book so that you will have your own story to say. Many times we actually borrow the conviction. So ideally it should not be borrowed conviction, it should be your conviction. So if you are closer to the information, life is a lot more easy. And today, thanks to social media, you can actually listen to the best of the ministers. They are most of the time out on a conclave. It could be Times Now conclave, it could be India Today, and you get variety of speakers. So as I told you earlier also, if you want to engage with the client interest could be various. So naturally you need to listen about various things. So assuming whatever is changing on the road, the projects which are going, if you can hear it from Nitin Gadkari itself, I think your life is a lot more easy. And your interpretation will be your own story instead of reading an article and saying. Of course, there is nothing wrong in reading an article, but if you have an opportunity to get directly from the source, I think it will be a lot more interesting. So that is one thing I do.
So going closer to the source is what I'm taking from you. And of course, since you do multiple products, including direct equity, a lot of news and about, stock announcements and all are important. But Padmanabhan, for you specifically, since you're a mutual fund specialist and you're focusing on one, and a lot of people in the audience would be aligned to that, how do you update yourself? What's your recommendation?
See, actually, I spend a lot of time on data. So especially the fund I have given, I just check it every day, night, or probably in the morning. Say for example, the last 2-3 years now, I have given some 50-20 funds to all my clients. So the 50-20 funds, how it performed on a day-to-day basis. So if the market is 1% up, vis-a-vis my fund, how much it has done. So I'm not going to take any action, but just I keep monitoring. So this helps me to pick up the laggard well in advance. Most of the time, what will happen, we will come to know after 1 year or 1.5 years. By the time, if I move it, if the fund bounce back, what will happen? So when you look at the data on a regular basis, definitely you have the better edge. That is number one. Number two, I keep interacting with all the fund manager possible. And fortunately, I stayed in a place in Chennai, which is the heart of the city. So most of the fund manager, whenever they come to Chennai, they prefer to visit me. So I have a one-on-one interaction so that I got a lot of insights. In a normal meeting, they have a structured way of presenting. So you cannot really pick up their brain, or in a casual chat, it's very difficult. So that is the second thing. And third thing, whatever I learn or this thing, I put it in a social media. See, social media also, there are so many social media, and you need to choose which one you are good at it. So for me, Twitter, no, like Kirtan, so for me also, Twitter is working. Because there are so many ways to search and find so many things. But why somebody should follow someone? Because you can get the most of the things, immediately. So in fact, Twitter helped me to get a good amount of clients. In the last 1 year, I got more than 50 clients. So wherein I don't need to sell what is mutual fund and this thing, and it's already sold. So definitely, these are all the three things, I generally, and cricket. So the cricket is, because we can easily connect people and you can draw a lot of parallels if you know all the cricket. So like, I am good at fund details, and I am also equally good at when it comes to cricket data also.
So if they don't want to do data analytics, they can all follow you because you're making it easier for them. But the message I'm taking back is that you've got to invest some time in updating yourself, in understanding the schemes that you have sold. If you have a low list of 15, 20 schemes, easier to follow that through as well. So fantastic. So thank you very much to the panel. I hope that there were some insights that the legends could share with everybody. And I'll pass it back to the host.